Hello, everyone. W. Kamau Bell is a stand-up comic and a television host, most prominently known for his CNN series, The United Shades of America, a documentary program that examines racial issues in America. Recently, he gave an interview to The Root, discussing his show, its future, and in particular, a behind-the-scenes story regarding the show's very first episode, in which Mr. Bell interviewed members of the Ku Klux Klan and then attended a cross burning. So, let's take a listen.
People of color wouldn't have started me on the cross burning. They said, let's work our way up. But the all-white crew I had said, why don't we just start with the cross burning?
The Klan claims this is a symbol of God's love. But I'm not feeling the love right now.
People of color would not have started you out at a cross burning, but the all-white crew did. Got it.
It was the very first episode, first day of production, was a cross burning, which tells you there were no people of color on the crew.
Right. That tells me there were no people of color on the crew. At least, I assume so. Except for our speaker, of course.
Of course!
And I also have to assume that our speaker had no input or say in whether to do an episode on that subject. Got it.
A lot of those people in the first season didn't make it to the second season and the third season. Many of them were good people, they do good work, but I needed a crew that was more representative of the friends and family that I hang out with. A multi-generational, very diverse, different sexualities group of people. And the show is all about different ideas and viewpoints, and yet the crew's not inclusive? To me, it drove me crazy at times.
So, you phased out white employees in favor of employees who better represented the kind of people that you already hang out with. They were good people and did good work, but they just weren't the type of people that you prefer to surround yourself with. Got it.
Luckily, I'm an executive producer on the show, so it became super important to me, and I made it super clear to all the people I worked with that I wasn't going to go forward with the show under those circumstances.
Oh, so you are an executive producer on the show, and yet you had no say in whether to do the cross-burning episode? Got it. Oh, and you threatened to leave the show under those circumstances. What circumstances? That there were white people in the crew? Or that you were made to interview the KKK? I'm confused.
I know the more diverse your world is, the smarter your world is. We should look for diversity and inclusion wherever we go, but I also I'd feel bad if they forced Fox News to have diversity and inclusion, because who wants to have those kind of days? I mean, I know there are black people and Latinos and Asians who work at Fox News, but I feel like they've made that choice. I wouldn't want to have to go, we have to divide the races equally among all the people in media. You work at Fox News. No!
Yes. It would be bad to simply press gang people into working for certain news outlets based solely on their race. However, firing people from a CNN show based on their race, well, that promotes diversity. Got it.
As a nation, are we ready to handle so many people who look so different from how many of us define an American? I know I am.
Are we ready? Who is we? And many of us. How many is many? I'm just curious.
This season of United Shades of America, I'm trying to get people to choose hope in a way that I don't think we've really leaned into in the last couple seasons. And so I hope that's not corny, or maybe it is corny, but I hope it's popular and corny.
Hope. Hope for what? The elimination of race as a consideration when assessing someone's value?
But I needed a crew that was more representative of the friends and family that I hang out with.
Yeah, I guess we can only hope for that. Can't we?
We're really trying to really highlight people who don't get the microphone enough.
People who don't get the microphone enough. Based on what exactly?
What's up? I'm PJ with The Root.
Hi, PJ. I'm Scribe.
We're dedicated to bringing you more series and videos like this.
I am glad to hear it.
And we need your help. Let us know what you thought below and also subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Oh, I am subscribed. No worries there. And these have been my thoughts. Well, almost all of my thoughts. I'd like to go back to our speaker's very first statement.
People of color wouldn't have started me on the cross burning. They said, let's work our way up. But the all-white crew I had said, why don't we just start with the cross burning?
Yes, people of color would not have started him out at a cross burning. Which is a really interesting thing to say, given what Mr. Bell stated in 2016 when he was interviewed just days after the first episode aired. From The Huffington Post, April 26, 2016. For the premiere episode last Sunday, Bell traveled to Arkansas to interview the Ku Klux Klan about the group's ideas, rituals, and beliefs. Though he was initially a bit apprehensive, when pitching the episode idea to CNN, he says the experience, which included the comedian witnessing a cross burning in the woods, was contrary to what people would expect. Quote, "It's on CNN, so I thought they would go, that's great, but let's not do that. But they were like, let's look into that. And they did," Bell said. "I had one security guard who was an ex-LAPD officer, which at the time I was like, who's my security for my security? But he was great. We ended up having a great time. We went to 3 different Klan groups, and I got to talk to people and have real conversations with members of the Klan and come back alive." It appears Bell's unorthodox idea paid off for the network. According to Deadline Hollywood, Sunday's episode netted 900,000 viewers, placing the show in the #1 time slot among cable news networks. So, I really have to wonder, was Mr. Bell lying in 2016, or is he lying now? Were his crew members, white or otherwise, let go because of a decision they made? Or is Mr. Bell making up a story? I have no idea. But the fact that I am forced to ask the question is really, really interesting. Regardless, I routinely find it both fascinating and bewildering how those who would proclaim themselves to be proponents of diversity and inclusion seem to be very uniform about who deserves to be excluded and why. It's almost as though they don't actually mean what they say. Or, if they do mean what they say, they are completely oblivious to the inherent contradiction between their stated intent and the truth of their actions. Because it has always been my understanding that when you excise the kinds of people that you don't normally hang out with on the basis of race, you're not actually helping to bridge the racial divide, but are instead driving a giant wedge in to help widen it. As always, thank you for watching.